Okay, it's Jane here from Earth Palette. I'm going to dye another lot of tops here. These are Merino tops, Australian Merino, grown and processed in Australia. I think it's 20 micron or 20 point whatever. Anyway, plenty soft enough to be using and wearing. Okay, I'll just lay it out on, I've got some plastic wrap underneath so the dye doesn't go through. Okay, I'm going to dye chartreuse first. These are Earth Palette dyes. I just pat them down a bit. My fibre I have had soaking in water for probably about an hour with a bit of, I put a bit of vinegar or citric acid in my soak water and a little bit of detergent just to help the water penetrate. And then I've got yellow. And we've got orange. I think I might be dyeing a rainbow. Funnily enough, I seem to dye a lot of rainbows. Yep. In between I wipe my hands so that I don't contaminate the other dyes. This is brilliant red. This is violet. Oops. And then lastly, I have turquoise. Because it's quite cold here at the moment, I think we're heading for a top of about 13 degrees Celsius today. Normally the Earth Palette dyes, you don't need to heat set them, but because it's so cold, I'm actually going to put them in my stock pot and steam them for about 15 minutes to get them warmer. And once they're nice and warm, I'm just going to turn it off and leave them there overnight. Rinse them out as usual tomorrow morning. Okay, we're back to the chartreuse. As I said, normally the Earth Palette dyes don't need to be steamed or heat set in any way, as long as your daytime temperature is about between 23 and 25 degrees. But the warmer you have them, the quicker they'll set. Didn't wipe my glove off properly then, did I, with the turquoise? Okay, yellow again. Oh, I think my lid's not done up properly. And then I'll put a little bit of orange right on the end. Okay, now I will turn these over and see what's on the other side in case I need to touch up a bit. This is 2. I'm just going to flip them over like that. And the same with these ones. That one didn't quite make it through. But I'm just going to add a little bit more dye wherever I think it needs it. Violet. Once these have been steamed and set and rinsed out, I'll bring them back tomorrow morning so you can have a look at them before I dry them. Let them dry, and then I'll come back again after they've been rinsed out and show you how they fluff up once they're all dry. Don't get too excited about the white spots because the dye will seep through there, and when you're steaming it will actually cover most of it. Okay, so we'll just scrunch them in a bit. Pack it up like a little package. Pallet wrapping is actually pretty good at sticking to itself. And then I'll put it in my stock pot, which is a 20-litre one like that, and steam it for 40 minutes. Okay, I've come back with the top side dyed with the earth palette dyes. And these, I did steam them for a bit to make sure that there was no, because it's so cold. It's only 9 degrees here this morning, so that's too cold to set these dyes. They like to have between about 23, 25 degrees. The warmer it is, the quicker they set. So there is a tiny little bit of colour left, but I'm not going to get too excited about that. So I'm going to put them in to my mesh bag, close it up. The mesh bag just stops it from getting overly handled, and the fibres tend to float away while you're rinsing them. This is 4 lots of 100 grams of fibre. Okay, I'll come back when it's all rinsed out and dry. This is the Merino fibre that I dyed with the earth palette dyes. It's still wet, it's straight out of the spinner where I've spun out all the excess water. I'll lay it out so you can see how we dyed it. The all tops tend to compact a little bit when you are dyeing them and then rinsing them out, but they do fluff up. As long as you don't handle them too much, they do fluff up nicely once they're dry. Okay, well, we might move that down a bit. As I said, these were earth palette dyes, but I did steam set these because today is 9 degrees, I think it is, so that is just not enough to set these dyes. In the summertime, I just leave them overnight and they set. I don't have to do any heat or anything, but in the middle of winter when it's so cold, I do steam them for a little while just to get them warm before I rinse them out the next day. Okay, I'll come back when these are dry so you can see just how much they fluffed up. This is the merino tops that I dyed with the earth palette dyes. I've just laid them out as we put the dye on so that you can see them. They're dry and you can see they've fluffed up quite considerably now that they're dry. They're ready to spin, nice and fluffy, and to put them, I actually like to braid mine to keep them nice and tidy, and I just put them around my fingers, make a loop, and then it's just like making a chain. It just makes it easier to keep them tidy and put away, you know, when you pick one up that you've got the whole 100 gram lot of tops without, you know, tangling it up with others. And then I just turn them around, make a circle and tuck the tail in so that it looks nice and tidy. Okay, ready to spin or ready to put away, ready to admire. And to spin it, I just undo that tail and then just undo the loops as I'm spinning. I tend to leave mine braided up and just spin it until I get closer to it and then undo a bit more so that I don't have it laying in a pile, in a mess everywhere. And yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, learned something from it. Please feel free to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'm hoping to do this on a weekly basis, so hopefully I'll see you next week.